Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guess. As always, I'm your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. And today, people still can't stop gleefully dancing, doing a jig when it comes to Charlie Kirk's murder as we approach the 1-year anniversary of it. We get into Critical Drinkers review of the first episode of Lanterns, not Green Lanterns, just Lanterns. We get into the Florida election, what that means, other than the fact that Dan Bilzerian is not as popular as you would think, at least not within his own state. And that's going to be about it today. We might elaborate on a little bit. We might pop in a couple other things, but let's get into it.
Call today. This is an important day. It really is. When you look at those primary results and you look at the debate that took place last week and you look at the fracturing on the right, and then I want you to bring into that this touring the country drag show that specifically mocks, celebrates, and is put together poorly from a creative standpoint, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Here's the quick clip you've probably seen on X. So the tour is it's Turning Point US.
Like it's gross. Like I used to go to some of these shows with some of my gay friends way back in the day. It was never like this. Like, yeah, politics were discussed and such, but never the gleeful, the just. I don't get it. I don't understand how people can, one, believe the negative hype. I mean, I kind of get it. Like I said, I used to be part of this kind of situation, but I'll never understand how people can, like, I've never gloated in anyone's death, like, except for maybe like Bin Laden, someone who actually caused death and mayhem. But
It's gay, and it's hosted by the drag queen Erica Quirk. They've raised $50,000 for the ACLU, Good Bedfellows.
What?
So think about that. Mocking the assassination of Charlie Kirk is actually a fundraising effort for the ACLU. And I want you to see the rest of this, because those who are...
And a lot of this, I'd be okay with it if it just wasn't him and his dead corpse dancing. I'd be okay with them making fun of Erica, because this is not something that's televised. It's something that people are doing on the side or whatever. Sure, fine. We'll see a little bit later of J.D. Vance humping a lady dressed as a couch. Sure, fine, all in good fun. I don't know.
Fracturing the right, the left hates you just as much. They see you as useful tools. They mock Charlie and Erica Kirk and Vance and all the people who folks like Candace and MTG and Tucker claim to hate, and they mock those people too. But they want to support it. They want to support, and we'll show you other clips, people like Candace and Tucker, those who are exclusively attacking the right. And before I get to that, here's one thing that I will say is very, very different from, go back, as long as I can remember, honestly. It's one thing to have a big tent, where you have libertarians, where you have, more traditional conservatives, where you have America First, you have MAGA. It's one thing to disagree on certain policies. Like, for example, you have libertarians who think that, we should end the drug war, legalize all drugs, and you have people going, you know what, I don't want all these drugs in my country. I want a more traditional America. I think it's bad for society. Okay, things like that. Taxes, public schools. All right.
James.
What you are seeing right now from the Tuckers, from the MTGs, from the Candaces specifically, that I've never seen before, is not a disagreement of opinion, but exclusively leading with character assassination against those on the right. Immediately assassinating the character of everyone else on the right, poisoning the well, so that nobody has a chance. That's new, and if you're feeling like things are really toxic, to use the term, or there's been a shift, that is quite new. And it's incessant.
And it's not so much new as it's new how accepted it is among the mainstream, especially what's allowed on networks
And the left loves it,
and in the public
to be
discourse.
clear. Especially U.S. was a turning point, U.S. gay. And to add insult to injury, they've even set up a debate table outside the venues, and it's unoriginal. Yeah, come on now.
Come on.
Well,
I'm
come
a
on.
female. So let's look at an
Who did that? Come on. Who put Gerald in that?
I don't think anyone did.
There's
One.
it's a touring drag show that's raising funds for the ACLU, which is kind of funny. At least it's not the SPLC.
Yeah.
I think that was a security
Right.
camera footage.
No, yeah, that's
Not.
official footage.
So here's an extended clip, and I warn you, it's disgusting, and you probably, I mean, I would never say, this is gross as far as comedy, because that's one thing. This isn't comedy. This is just men playing dress up, and they're too untalented to make the cut anywhere else. They're not dancers.
Try not to get turned on.
Yeah, they're not strippers. They're not comedians. They're not actors. They just put on a costume and do stupid shit. That's all it is, and they want to call it an art form. But look at who they
No, I'm just
mock
tired.
and who they hate. And this is hateful. It's not just Charlie Kirk. It's not just Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. It's not just Kristi Noem's husband. It's not just Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, Trump, J.D. Vance. It's also people like MTG are included, Tucker Carlson, and Mrs. Candace Farmer. So they're happy to mock all of these people, and they want you to keep snipping.
Like I said, I don't even know who this one is supposed to be. This one, sure. I guess that's supposed to be
There isn't
J.D.
even
Vance having
choreography.
sex with the couch.
There you go. There's Miss Candace Farmer.
Funny thing is that dude kind of looks like.
She's on the side. Yeah.
It's just horrible.
Yeah, now do the argument, right, those on the left where they go, what about the Hortmans? Right, in Minnesota, which was not a right-wing extremist. Like, okay, show me the
Yeah,
stage
boo,
play
throwing tomatoes.
where everyone mocks the political violence committed against, let alone the...
Well, and the thing about the Hortmans is I believe that was the lady that was killed right after she voted against the bill in Minnesota, where she voted against the Democrat Party. She was a Democrat, and she was killed by someone who worked for Tim Walz right after she voted against the party. Like, yeah, he had been a Republican before, but he had been working for Tim Walz for years. And no one was gleeful about the murder of the Hortmans. No, people all thought it was bad, left and right. Big difference.
assassination of a young man and his wife. And of course, like I said, they see no difference between Erica Kirk and Candace Farmer. The only difference they see is one being a useful tool. Here is noted self-professed communist Hassan Piker saying the quiet part out loud.
I want to be logical. I want to be rational about this case. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking to myself, I can't speak out against this queen. I mean, I can't speak out against this
He's talking
queen
about Candace
because
Owens.
This is a queen that successfully and single-handedly undermined the Republican initiative to martyrize Charlie Kirk and use that example to crack down on political dissent. She dropped a grenade on the discourse. So I'm with her. It's hard. It's hard for me. My brain says, no, it's probably Tyler Robinson. But my heart says, go, Candace, go.
Hey,
Keep
good morning, Nuka.
cooking. You know? Does that make sense?
And this is what I'm saying. They're glorified by people who are supposed to be their opponents. Why? Because, again, Candace Owens has always been a grifter. She's never been genuine, ever. She is a hardcore leftist, the kind of people that even myself, a liberal, strongly dislike. And somehow she's pulled the wool over a lot of centrist and right-wing people's eyes. And she's part of this whole thing on the right, led by her, Tucker, Megyn Kelly, and a bunch of other people who are trying to shake up the election this year. And if they're allowed to do this, well, next year will be interesting.
And by the way, I'm not making the logical fallacy where people just go, well, Hitler liked sandwiches, and if you like sandwiches, therefore you're Hitler. What I'm trying to communicate to you is that this is exactly what the left wants. They've been clear about it. They will put momentum and finances behind it, and then ask yourself logically, would the left like to see the right fractured, and would they like to see people on the right who claim to be on the right character assassinate everyone else of note on the right? The answer is yes. Also, as a side note, that's Hassan Piker, and he's into fashion. He has like what, $600 glasses, whatever it is. But he also had a ring.
I think more expensive than that.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
he likes a lot of jewelry.
Yeah, he has jewelry. He's wearing jewelry. Look, you don't get to be a communist, socialist, Marxist
$6,000
if you wear a ring and a bracelet. You don't. It's a completely unnecessary luxury. Also an expensive watch. If you're not a socialist and you want a nice expensive watch, that's fine. I'll tell you, this Casio keeps time just as well. But if you are a socialist...
Yeah, the problem isn't wearing fancy stuff.
No.
Expensive jewelry. The problem is...
Most working class Republicans, small business owners, conservatives who you mock as capitalist pigs, do not purchase such frivolities. You can't complain about the decadence of the West while wearing, as a man, a ring, a bracelet, a necklace, designer glasses. You are full of...
Designer clothes in general, and only changing said clothes to a weird little... improperly fit suit once someone like Shoe on Head calls you out for it. And you got your fifis hurt, then you're embarrassed.
Just like you can't be an environmentalist and have a fragrance. You are a walking tub o' shit.
You'd be hard-pressed to find an Italian socialist, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
Hey, about a boopy.
He
didn't have any watches or nothing, no.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of watches they had back then. With Rumble Wallet. Download it today at wallet.rumble.com/Crowder. Case in point here, you know what? The quartering, Jeremy, whether you agree with him or not, he went on Alex Jones yesterday, and I think he handled it really well. And I think he voiced something where Alex was probably ready for it to be adversarial. To Alex's credit, he's always willing to talk with people, even if he disagrees, and will concede, hey, you know what, all right, we shouldn't be fighting against each other, or that's a good point, even if he disagrees. It was a productive conversation. I also would like to emulate that and extend an actual olive branch to people who I may disagree with, of course, on the right. If you're willing to sit down and talk, we can. Let's just put a stop to the character assassination, and everyone who disagrees with me must be paid by a foreign government, while ignoring China, Pakistan, and Qatar. So he sat down with Alex Jones yesterday and made a very solid point that I think everyone should probably take heed of this.
I think there's a lot of infighting right now going on the right.
Pause.
Whatever form.
Just really quickly, we're going to restart it. But compare Hassan Piker, the expensive jewelry, the socialist, to this guy who's a right-winger. I mean, he's got...
So, no, I'm not a huge fan of the quartering either.
J.C. Penney glasses. He clearly
come on, that's
got all of his.
crafters.
We mean it
He just got off his shift at Olive Garden.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
He's a working
It wouldn't
man.
be a hypocrite for this man to have a bunch of bling, but it's the socialists. I just think it's an interesting contrast. All right, play it from the top.
I think there's a lot of infighting right now going on the right, whatever form of the right you want to talk about. And, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated brutally, it was a real opportunity to finally defeat the left. And instead, it seems like the right is more focused on infighting and certain foreign countries. And that's why I'm here. I want to try to hopefully realign together before complete disaster with the midterms and then the 2028 election. When you tweeted, I believe Israel was involved, has that changed? Do you still believe that Israel was involved? Because I think
That's talking about Tim Pool, I'm
the
pretty
core
sure.
wedge issue on the right now, when we should be focusing on the left, who is laying back and continues to be demonic and continues to want us dead. And they are just gathering power across
That's
this
why he
country.
prints
We
the
see
papers.
Muslims winning elections in Michigan. Texas is being overrun by Muslims. You guys are having more Islamic foot washing stations in there. people aren't talking about that. They're talking about, whether or not the Jews killed Charlie Kirk.
Well, I am talking about Islamic. I am talking about Islamic foot washing stations and the giant Islamic invasion.
You are
of Spain.
Yeah.
And then when I do, people go, "Why aren't you just attacking Israel?" I cover China. I cover Israel. I cover the UK trying to pass internet ID laws in the U.S. I'm against any foreign group manipulating our country.
Me too. But I think,
which is one of
when
the
you say
reasons I
stuff
have some
like
respect for him.
people are mad at me when I say this. It makes me concerned that
I think he's been smoking weed with Joe Rogan too much, to be honest. And I say that as someone who doesn't frown upon pot smoking. I don't think Alex Jones needs to.
worried about what people think, and that's not the old Alex Jones I know. I have a real concern with people getting sucked in to what I believe is a concerted effort to divide the right, and I feel like some people are getting sucked into it because they see all the interaction and they see how popular this stuff is on X, and so they think, well, maybe I'm wrong. They gaslight themselves because, the bot army, who benefits from dividing the right now? And that's what we should really be asking ourselves, not
And the other question is, what are the tangerines for?
whether or not Candace Owens' absurd lies about Tyler Robinson are true or not. She should be ignored completely because
Yes.
she is clearly driven to destroy the right.
Yes.
So, let me ask you, genuine question, and I know that we are not going to resolve disagreements here. Certainly not all of them. Has this been an eye-opener?
I mean, not the quartering himself, but
Primaries, what the left wants, how polling, now we know, has been designed to direct public opinion. Because you could see that as an eye-opener right now and then understand, all right, I'm glad I got the wake-up call early enough because there's still time. If what you want, and I don't mean what you want is the perfect, but what you want and what you understand to be important is to stop the left, the socialist Marxist left, from attaining power to destroy this country. That means woke 2.0. That means open borders again. That means speech laws. Means all of it. You got a wake-up call early enough. Good. Can we have a conversation now? Can it be about, okay, approaches, policy, strategy? Or do you want to keep going down the path of poisoning the well? Charlie Kirk, put yourself back in the moment. Just allow, for the sake of argument, just for a moment. Let's just assume that Candace in the debate, no matter how you think or feel
I can't believe
about
it's been a year already.
optics, tone, just assume for a second that Candace willingly admitted she has no evidence
11 months, but it's
of
getting
anyone
there.
other than Tyler Robinson killing Charlie Kirk. Just assume that for the sake of argument. Put yourself back during that day. That day, what happened, what you thought, how you felt. Was it, let's destroy the conservative movement and the Republican Party? Was it, there's no difference between the right and the left, let's just hand it over? Or was it, we knew this was going to happen, we've seen the violence across the country from the left against the nameless, also blameless, we've been seeing it for years, and now they've done it in plain view. Now they've done it in plain, yep, no surprise that someone who's radicalized by
And
the
then they
left,
act like that's what you get.
LGBTQAIP,
Like he deserved it.
Antifa, all of that. None of us are surprised that it came to this, and what a tragedy. And this is a moment where we can correct course and go, okay, all right, no more of that. Is that how you thought?
And then here comes
Or
Candace.
did you think, you know what, a few months from now, I'm not going to care that this snuff film becomes a leftist clout-chasing exercise and a drag show. You know what, a couple months from now, I'm not going to care about any of this so long as people make Israel the center of all of their issues. I don't care about any of this. You know what? A few months from now, this thing that's happened right with Charlie Kirk, you know what? This has inspired me to impeach Donald Trump. Put yourself back there. Marry it with the undeniable statistical wake-up call of the primaries that you've been seeing. And ask yourself what the path forward is. And I will tell you, even to those who've been awful, open door here where we will have a conversation. in good faith as far as how to move forward. Oh, you're still here, and you're still.
And I agree. Look, I know this got off to an awful glum start, but it just bothers me. Man, like he seems like a good dude. He seems like some of the few good people that went to this church that I went to when I was a kid. There was a youth pastor, and then there was a buddy of mine, huge dork, who was like the head of the dorky kid brigade at Sunday school at a church I was dragged to on the rich side of town for some reason. And Charlie always reminded me of one of them. But more grown, more adult. Funny how I don't hear no one saying it's involved in Charlie's murder. Yeah, no, it's funny how it's not the FBI or it wasn't a Fed or anything, but all these other people are. Like Nick Fuentes is a Fed. What's his name? Nick, is it Shirley, the one that went to the Leering Center? They're saying he's a Fed. Apparently, if your name's Nick, you're a Fed automatically. But anyway, let's get into something still a little droll, but a lot more comical. How bad HBO's Lanterns is.
Remember that Simpsons episode where they go on a tour of the Duff Brewery and you find out that every flavour is just the same crap piped into different containers? Well, that's basically James Gunn's DCU at this point. No matter what movie or show you find yourself watching, it's all just slightly different flavours of the same cynical, wannabe, edgy, unfunny, deconstructionist James Gunn slop. In this case, seasoned with a little bit of Damon Lindelof's mildly retarded answer to True Detective, but with all of the intelligence and creativity replaced by his thinly disguised race-baiting political fetishes to produce Green Lanterns. Sorry, it's just lanterns now, because green isn't cool enough for a show about intergalactic space cops with magical rings that allow them to manifest anything they can imagine, I guess. Ugh. I'm so tired, man. Watching a DC project at this point...
No, me too. And it's almost... Look, I wasn't a Snyder bro. I liked Henry Cavill's casting. I like Jason Momoa. I think he's a better fit for the main man, Lobo. But that's about it. I used to like Ezra Miller. I liked him on Perks of Being the Wallflower. That was one of my favorite books as a teenager, as someone who was an outcast. I liked him in Californication, season 2, I think it was. He was Becca's boyfriend. I've liked him in things. I liked him in the Flash role. I didn't like him as the Flash, but he was funny. He was quirky. He wasn't Barry Allen by any stretch of the imagination, but it was an interesting take. I mean, to be fair, he runs like he's ice skating, which is funny in its own self, considering how he identifies. But there are things that I strongly like and dislike about both universes. I like the kid who's playing Superman now, other than his wandering eye. I like most of the casting. I think it's very well cast, except for Supergirl. But I just, it's either a deliberate or major failure that should get everyone fired. No, I agree. I completely agree. Risk assessment should have been taught to secure the roof. No, I agree in both the first Trump assassination attempt and, look, Charlie Kirk's, he's a public figure. He's a high risk, and he knew this was coming, and he went anyway. I wish he had better coverage. I think Candace Owens is nuts because she thinks that they killed Charlie Kirk because he wouldn't kill Candace Owens. You get out there and you make it about you, Missy.
Is a bit like spinning a wheel of fortune to decide the method of your own demise. You know it's ultimately going to be messy and unpleasant, it's just a question of degrees. And having slogged through all 57 minutes of the pilot episode, I can confidently tell you this show is an absolute chore, combining the worst aspects of modern Hollywood character assassination with a tediously slow plot that takes forever to get moving, and dialogue that literally spells out every single thing that just happened.
I think from the nose up, this guy looks like Jon Stewart. From the nose down, not so much. Jon Stewart's supposed to be older. God, I wish they could have gotten the guy that voiced him, Keith David, to play him in live action. But he's far too old. Far too old. I wish we had a modern day Keith David, but we don't. On this, I don't like that Jon Stewart's the young one. I mean, I'm okay with the universe where all three of them exist. I think Nathan Fillion should have played Hal Jordan, honestly. Especially if they're going to go for the older angle. I think he's too old to play, Guy Gardner. Be interesting to see Kyle Rayner. But this guy's not a Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart is more calculated. He's... I don't know. I will say, as far as efficiency, it's somewhere between Guy Gardner and... Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. They are the best two Green Lanterns, in my opinion. I like all four of the main four. Not really a fan of anyone outside of those four. I know there have been other variations, but this show's disappointing, man. Like, this is... Hold on, let me pull up while this is going.
Telegraphs what's about to happen, so the audience is usually 10 minutes ahead of the writers, and lays out his political allegories for modern-day American immigration and race issues with all the subtlety of a thermobaric weapon.
And that's what you expect from the people that made The Watchmen
Consider it done,
TV show.
Simon Phoenix. The show picks up in 1996 with a young Jon Stewart. No, not that one. Watch...
Like, let's just look and see real quick, while we're at it. Hold on. Let's go, man. David Lindelof, this fucker, known for Lost, somewhere you can get lost in, of course. Watchmen, The Hunt, but he was only a producer. So let's go to what he had direct influence in. Writing. Did I just delete the... Fuck. Okay, hold on. All credits. Don't care about producer. Don't care about additional crew. Don't care about actor. What are you doing to me? Okay. Writing. He wrote The Hunt? Okay, I actually like The Hunt. So, we'll go past that. He did The Watchmen, which was horrible. He did Tomorrowland, which was bleh. He did Ultimate Wolverine versus the Hulk, which is one of the only animated bits I didn't like. Star Trek Into Darkness, big surprise. Prometheus. Again, a lot of really retarded scripts. Cowboys and Aliens. Really dumb. All the things that have to do with the series Lost. Like, he's done a lot of shit. And I stress shit. Yeah, but the main one, the big bad, is this right here. Again, I like The Hunt. I thought it was good. It went through some changes after it was announced and made it more even keel, more or less. They did make the good guy someone who was neither side, which was a take, but yeah, Damon Lindelof sucks. I thought he had something. I keep getting him confused with the guy that made both the Dark Phoenixes. So apologies. I thought he had done more shit, but he has done a lot of shit.
Hal Jordan being interviewed on TV about how he became the Green Lantern until his dad shows up and shoots at him to see if he's scared or not.
Are you afraid? No, sir.
This is how people see the military. I've never met anyone in the military like this, and I've known a lot of crazy people in the military.
You know, funny story, I actually tried that once with a crossbow, but it didn't work out quite so well. Wait, we should probably edit that out later. Anyway, flash forward 20 years or so, and John's now being trained by Hal as a kind of backup lantern just in case anything happens to him. Oh yeah, and Hal's a drunk middle-aged loser now who doesn't actually teach him anything useful because the rules of modern writing dictate that any man over the age of 50 has to be a drunk, disheveled loser. My god, it's just so
that
creative,
is true. You just
I can't
have
get
to
over
be.
it. Anyway, when a mass shooting happens at a football game in small-town Nebraska, the boys are deployed to find out what happened. That's when they run into annoying girl boss number 1, who seems
boy.
to exist purely to shit-talk Hal and delay his investigation for as long as possible to stretch the 20 minutes of actual plot into a 60-minute episodes. But despite her best efforts, Hal uncovers the shooter and he suspects that he's an alien in disguise, but annoying girl boss number 1 won't let him interrogate the guy,
that's
even when he gets
racist,
himself
'cause you
arrested to be
mean
sent to the same jail as him. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm no expert on the Green Lantern powers or anything, but couldn't Hal just force his way into the prison if it's that urgent? It's not
could.
like a small-town sheriff is going to be able to stop him, no matter how much of a girl boss she is. Ah, what fucking ever.
But, and that's the main thing. They horribly subdue the power set, and they the whole thing shot on Earth. It's a blatant ripoff of what's it, True Detective, and they just make them all bad people. Like, he wouldn't be worthy of being a Green Lantern if he was someone who had sex with random old prostitute in a parking lot.
So the two lads eventually get summoned to evil redneck man's house. I know he's evil because he's a white man who lives on a ranch and immediately starts talking about wanting to
and he's
protect
played
the
by
planet
that
from
guy.
anyone who wasn't born there.
How about
that's
we both
kind of
wanna
on the nose,
protect
huh?
the planet from anybody not born on it?
Are you getting the subtle messaging yet, dear viewer? Anyway, evil redneck man pulls some strings to get Hal to interrogate the shooter, which is something that should have happened like 20 minutes ago, but fuck it, we need to make this episode an hour long somehow. And even though annoying girl boss number 1 is absolutely convinced that he's barking up the wrong tree, Hal's actually proven right and the man really is an alien pretending to be human. Then he blows himself up, but Hal saves the day with his ring powers and she's still pissed at him somehow. Seriously, fuck.
Because that's how they're written. They've got to be based on people that the screenwriters actually know, unless they're writing about themselves specifically, considering.
Cough. Flash forward another 10 years and John returns to the place where it all happened, reunites with annoying girl boss number 1 who somehow hasn't aged a day in 10 years, and together they find Hal's frozen body at the football stadium, having completed his middle-aged white man character arc by dying and stepping aside to make way for someone more diverse.
Dying like the old man from Bill Murray's Scrooged, or like Jack Nicholson from The Shining, just sitting out in the snow, frozen to death.
Now, what can I say about this show except I can't think of many projects where the influences and intentions of the writers are more glaringly obvious than Lanterns. Instead of making a show about intergalactic space cops going on cosmic adventures and battling all manners of weird and wonderful alien threats, they instead decided to make a Temu version of True Detective, complete with bleak, cynical, and mostly unlikable characters who constantly have to swear to prove just how edgy they are, patched together with all the tedious tropes of modern Hollywood writing and the usual laundry list of safe, predictable political targets like Republicans, small-town America, and immigration policy. And holy fuckballs, is it tedious. It's nothing but a standard police procedural with some vague superhero elements mixed in, made by people with no understanding of police procedures and no affection for superheroes. Not only is it crushingly slow and
And again, I will never understand why it seems like a prerequisite for people who hate the source material to write fucking TV shows with movie quality, quote unquote, or movies about said source material, or video games, or pretty much anything. It seems like a prerequisite that you're not only allowed to be a fan of it, but you have to just horribly, horribly hate it. Ugh.
dull, stretching out the runtime with pointless side quests and putting characters into holding patterns while the plot catches up with them, but it also literally spells out everything that's happening just in case you weren't paying attention, which to be fair you probably weren't. Like at one point when John goes to a barbecue at evil redneck guy's house, only to discover the old lady that he fucked in a parking lot the night before, oh yeah, that's the thing which happens, is the guy's wife, and the dude says this to him as he leaves.
Nothing better than eating off another man's grill.
I mean, okay, it's a bit cringy, but at least it gives you a bit of a hint about how much the man really knows. Then fucking Hal has to immediately jump in with this absolute clanger.
I definitely slept with his wife.
And he knows?
Apparently.
I mean, it's like the writers have never even heard of the idea of subtext. Honestly, Damon Lindelof should have been banned from ever writing anything again, ever, after the absolute embarrassment of Watchmen, but somehow this bald, pretentious retard just keeps failing upwards in Hollywoods. Let that be a lesson to you, kids. It's not what you know, or even who you know, it's what you say that matters in that industry. In terms of character work, pretty much everyone except Hal is an unlikable arsehole in this show, and most of that comes down to Kyle Chandler doing his best with some pretty shocking material. Aaron Pierre, on the other hand, is an absolute block of wood, with all the personality and charisma of a love child between Sam Worthington and Sophie Turner.
Ew.
Jesus, how is this guy supposed to carry the entire show? I was bored of him after like 1 episode. Ultimately, Lanterns is pretty much exactly what...
It's kind of like Last of Us Season 2, where they kill off Joel and leave you with Ellie, but not the evolved Ellie that we got in the second game, even though she was kind of a stick in the mud too. We got what was supposed to be the adult version of the 11-year-old from the first game. Look, I like dick and fart jokes as much as the next person, but oh no, it's even worse than that. It makes it seem like Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie wasn't so bad, because at least they knew what the character was about.
What I expected when you take the political obsessions of Damon Lindelof and try to plant them in the creative wasteland of James Gunn's DCU by James Gunn. It's a show that combines the worst of every world, and I don't imagine I'm going to be wasting much more time on it. Not when there's much better things I could be doing. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Randy Fine. Common. There were primary elections. Yes, sir. Let me ask you
Yes.
this. What was your primary takeaway? And I'm going to be, I rarely do this, but I'm going to have some predictions going into these midterms.
Like a primary takeaway or a takeaway from the primaries?
I understand that some are not going to be great, but
Yeah, it's horrible. And like, look, Green Lanterns get no real love. I can't remember the name of the guy who was doing the Green Lantern run before the new 52 kicked in the comics. But that was fantastic. The Brightest Day, the Darkest Night, where the Black Lanterns and the White Lantern was introduced. That was a banger run. And then they immediately reboot the whole universe, which understandably, because it was kind of... In a couple of the stories throughout the whole universe, they had kind of taken it to its natural conclusion. But at the same time, making the new 52 because you wanted to keep Batman where he was instead of starting him over because people were really starting to attach themselves to characters like Damian Wayne. The actual son of Batman who's a Robin. Spoilers for something that's 20 years old. And say that all the Robins and all the Batman stories have still taken place because there was already an ongoing Batman story, if I'm remembering correctly, 20 years ago again. But it all took place in 5 years. So he went through Dick Grayson, giggity, Jason Todd, the third one, I can't remember, Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, and Damian Wayne within about 5 years. And Superman's still fairly young. I will say it was interesting how they brought in the Watchmen series and started to do things there, but they even botched that because they couldn't get the fucking story out in time. And then they said something, 3 Jokers, something. That was an interesting story, but considering its impact on the main universe as a whole, it sucked and completely not worth it. Anyway, nerd ran over.
I also know that there are a lot of myths out there. A lot of what you think is going to happen or is guaranteed is not so. But let's start with this. The governor, primary, Byron Donalds, won 47%. Fishback, 10%. So Byron Donalds, 47.8%. Jay Collins, 25%. Fishback, 10%. And of course,
I know I've heard that name before, but I'm not rightly sure. And that was what, governor? Was that governor? Yeah, Florida governor. So Byron Donalds will be the governor. Why? Because let's just be real. This isn't racist to say, Florida is primarily Jews and Cubans. They are most of the voter base in Florida, especially on the right. This is just a fact. Cubans are heavily conservative. Religious Jews, especially the ones that have moved to Florida, Ben Shapiro, heavily conservative. The crazed rednecks of North Florida that are basically what you would expect from the states that they border, specifically, also heavily conservative. So Byron Donalds, there's your governor. Congratulations.
So Byron Donalds, 47.8%, Jay Collins, 25%, Fishback, 10%. And of course, Fishback was backed by when, I sat down and interviewed Nick Fuentes. When he was talking, and this was the center of that debate, right? This was central. I said, okay, so who's the guy in 2028 who could be better? I have issues with Vance. I have issues with Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
But if I would be advocating, hey, vote Democrat because we'll get someone better in 2028, and the closest you can come up with is Fishback, who lost a primary. I mean, but the guy who won got much more than double, got quadruple. So less than a quarter of the winner of the state. You got to offer better than that, otherwise you just end up in the hands of the Democrats. And by the way, I believe that Nick is genuine in what he's expressing. I just think he's wrong.
Yeah.
And I respect that he's able to communicate it.
And definitely on X, everybody was saying like, oh, he's definitely going to win. Look at all these polls among the young people right now. And it was this fantasy. Well, and they were saying there's even, like, Joel Webben, I have no idea why he was saying this. He's like, they're rigging the Kalshi odds because it's showing that he has the second place chance was like 10%. I'm like, no, they just know he's not going to be second place or first.
And by the way, this then shortchanges the segment that we'll get to, that polling is used to try and dictate, not to actually reflect. Right? It's meant to direct, not reflect public opinion. But when you say, this is rigged, and a guy gets less than a quarter of the winner, well, then people drown you out as white noise.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened for Congress, Randy Fine beat Dan Bilzerian, 56 to 18%. Now, to be clear, this is important because X and social media is not real life. Randy Fine, and I readily acknowledge, one of the most unlikable candidates in the country.
Yeah.
Distinctly unlikable in the way he communicates, in a lot of his policies, and his face.
That's a big one.
And still trounced Dan Bilzerian, who many people were convinced would win, and by the way, are also convinced that the only reason he lost must be because it's rigged against him. Maybe it's because he pushed out promotional material like this.
Randy Fine wants you to die for Israel. The fat Jew, oh, the fat Jew has got poison to sell.
You called your opponent this fat Jew. So he's not from Israel, but you called a guy in Florida this fat Jew. How is that not anti-Semitic?
Well, he's a Jewish.
I hate to agree with anything that TMZ says, but I'm going to agree with that.
Supremacist.
Jewish supremacist.
That's
Wait,
not
what?
anti-Semitic.
Well, he's a Jewish supremacist.
Jewish supremacist.
That's stupid.
Little minions. Should we revisit that Austrian painter's opinion?
Jeez.
But you're anti-Semitic then.
I'm not. I
You
have
are.
I have Jewish friends.
Keep that con off the door. He's a satanic whore.
I mean, honestly, the only real battle in the world today that I see worth fighting is fucking,
Is it just me, and is it just the camera angle? But does his face below his nose seem way too big? Like, I am terrified to see what his face looks like underneath that beard. Sorry, ADHD brain.
exterminating Israel. I mean, I would sign up tomorrow and go fucking put boots on the ground and go fucking kill Israelis. That would be a great day for me. Go fucking kill Israelis. That would be a great day for me.
You made Sneeko blush. Kind of shows where you're at.
I didn't get him. And here's the thing. You can separate, yeah, AIPAC, yeah, transparency. Like, here's how primaries can and should be used. Oh, you got 10% of the vote, maybe not at 10%. But like you would have this with the Tea Party. Oh, you guys had a close primary. Oh, an outsider got 40% of the vote. Oh, maybe we should hear that portion of the party. Meaning, hey, maybe we should listen and reflect and actually be very clear about our policy on Israel, on AIPAC, on funding, on lobbying. Then you can actually correct it. The problem is when you come out and say stupid things like he supports raping children. And I get it, they're going to say because sanctuary and stuff, and people go to Israel and these pedophiles. Sure, okay, fine. You can't say, look, it's just inaccurate to say Randy Fine is raping or supporting raping children. Saying I would, the only battle I would fight, I'd go and, shoot some Israelis. Not I would shoot some corrupt people. Not I would take out just Israelis. And I had people text me, and I talked about it on the show. Do you think Dan Bilzerian has a chance? I said, of course not. Absolutely not. And people go, that's because you're a shill. All right. Do you think I was paid to say that? Or do you think that Dan Bilzerian lost 18-56?
I will say, I think, especially when I hear about our oil being depleted, we should have got some of our oil pulled out of the ground and processed before we ever start selling to the world. I do think we should pump our own oil and sell it to the world. And the Gulf of, whether you call it Mexico or America, I don't care. Gulf of America is the continent, if you want to see it that way. And it's the same syllables, so the lazy side of my brain still doesn't care. But the Gulf of America, I guess, should be the center for a lot of our economy. It should be, because a lot of our oil is pumped in Texas. The rest is, I believe, in Alaska. And if we ever got that, I don't recall if that pipeline is up and running, but it should be. And that could be another means to get it down to Texas, Houston specifically, and ported out. Hold on. Dan, let's go fight the fourth strongest army for nothing. No doubt America will win this war, but why? Japan lobbied 10 times more money than AIPAC, and I don't hear it. No, exactly. And we don't even get that much money. Well, AIPAC doesn't have that much influence. When you hear, like, influencers get $7,000, for a lot of the people who are said to have taken that money, it doesn't matter. And as far as, like, it's negligible. For someone like me, it's something, but I still wouldn't sell my soul for $7,000. I'd just be like, hey, thank you. So anyway, Israel did, or person who is paid off by AIPAC said, like, I wouldn't care. AIPAC in the political sphere is about the same, considering how much money and donations a lot of politicians get every year. AIPAC is negligible. We do send money to Israel, but that which they don't spend it within their own country, they have to purchase American goods with, whether it be munitions or what have you. But that's part of the deal. I have no problem with Japan, but if you are talking about the lobby, don't give me the names that are not even in the top 10. Yeah, exactly. But people care about it because anti-Semitism. They don't like the Jews. Or they would probably refer to them as Juden, but...
Also, I should note, I don't like Randy Fine. I think he's intensely unlikable, like I said.
Looks like a sock puppet.
Yes, he does. He does look like a sock puppet. He looks like something my dad would have behind the couch when I was a kid to entertain me. So right. His communication skills, some of his policies, and his face. In this instance...
Yeah, I don't like his face either.
Randy Fine had the last laugh.
Oh, this is going to be a great big fat guy, isn't it? And I have to say, in the actual movie, the build-up in this scene was much better than the payoff because Eli Roth is a cornball. And he's not that thin. I don't think. I'm pretty sure he's fatter than that.
AI kind of made him look like Sam Hyde a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's appropriate. Who knows? But people are going to be pissed about that one.
X is not real life. Social
No.
media is not real life. And here's the thing. If you want to, we have the blueprint as to how you can translate this. We saw it with the Tea Party. People go, okay, boom, the Tea Party did its best, and we saw a lot. We saw that red wave correct the Republican Party. Then it oscillates and it goes back. You saw that with Barack Obama against Hillary Clinton. And you are seeing it now, which brings us to the third key takeaway, the DSA. Right? They are actually using their power to veer the Democrat Party to the radical left, who many on the Marxist right are saying, no difference, vote for them. Angie Nixon won. She got 56%, was endorsed by Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Miss Rachel.
It's horrifying.
Now, see, if you switch that video and you switch the horns to Miss Rachel, I'd be like, I'll allow it. Also, Nixon had this really sweet, crazy drip for sale on her website. Look at that. Hey. What?
Really?
What?
It's like a Selena shirt.
Oh.
And Nixon, DSA beat Alex Vindman, which is what Trump was talking about. So it was 56-43. Vindman, for those of you who've forgotten, was the impeachment witness against Trump. One of them outspent Nixon $16 million to under $1. So this tells you that the DSA...
$1 million, not $1.
Not, did I say $1? $1 million. Sorry, you can admonish me. This tells you the DSA is correcting. The DSA is applying pressure. I'm going to need some octopus chips.
Thought we had a deal.
And let's be clear about this. And I want to count Nixon as a DSA candidate, strong black lady. And here is who she is. Let's count the false platitudes because I'm really getting irritated.
The Justice League one, yeah, I'm trying to get it to work
platitudes,
right
but
now.
like actually retarded platitudes.
While also making, sorry, I'll show you what I'm click-clacking away at. So I said, hey Grok, substitute. Oh, I spelled case wrong. I put the space in the wrong place. But I said to substitute her for the Grudge Girl because the way her hair is, she kind of looks like the Grudge Girl in this picture that Tectone did. And they kind of did it to the girl on the house side of it. But yeah, no, I'm trying to get yours to work too.
I am a wife. I'm a mother of 5. I'm also a former union organizer, community organizer. And Ron DeSantis banned books. I opened up a banned bookstore.
Remember the
Then they're not banned.
Socialists. There are a lot of candidates.
Yeah, you can't open a banned bookstore. A book being not allowed in a high school or elementary school is not banned. It just means the material's too advanced or devolved from them. Like with a couple exceptions, you're retarded. Oh, look, Jen Sakai.
Candidates who have won in primaries, who are members of the Democratic Socialists as well. You are also running, though, in a state, Florida has, as you well know, and a lot of people watching know, a large population of people who fled countries like Cuba and Venezuela. What is your message to them, and how are you going to appeal to them? Because you need to win them over, too.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to continue to work hard and go and knock on every door and have conversations with people.
We have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
We have absolutely nothing.
What we see time and time
Well,
again
how about your
is
bookstores?
black
Could lose those.
They closed.
Yeah,
It just
they
didn't
got
make it.
looted. All right, keep playing.
women that always show up and when
Platitude.
we are supposed to show up and that actually work to save
Well,
democracy.
late.
We saw it
Show
in
up late.
Georgia when black women turned out to
Many
help
were turned
save
out.
democracy back in
Damn.
2020. And it's that they want our labor, but not necessarily our leadership.
Platitude. Now pause. That's an important one. That does perfectly encapsulate, because it sounds good, but let me tell you, that's retarded. Imagine if all of the employees in a company said, well, I feel like the boss, the owner, wants our work, but not our leadership. Well, no shit. You work for them. Imagine if every private in the military, well, I feel like the colonel wants all our labor, but not our leadership. Well, yeah, you're a private. Not everyone is a leader. Also, this doesn't mean that there's only one leader. For example, in this company, yeah, my name's on the board, but guess what? Gerald is a leader, and he will be the one who manages me on certain issues as it relates to business affairs. You have different roles in leadership, and people who are true leaders will submit to the leadership of others when appropriate as to best be effective leaders collectively for the unit. That also means that not everybody is a leader, but that sounds like a good platitude. They want to...
Well, and in places where I work, you always seems like people fail upward. Not unlike democratic socialist politics.
But not our leadership. True. Keep going.
Spending $1 billion on a ballroom you will never get to dance in.
That is a stupid argument. And the reason they're spending so much money on it is he was going to pay for it himself at first, and then the legislative branch decided, oh no, the taxpayer should pay for it. Whoops.
The world where organized people can accomplish.
When I think that group, I think organized.
She does really good at talking in that, that's right voice.
And we show the world what people of Florida are all about.
Doing bath salts on the highway.
Medicare for all.
Drinking on the beach.
Universal child care.
Oh, that's right.
Real affordable housing.
Just so you know, anything that the government gets involved with to the level that they're talking about, the prices get inflated out the ass. It's one of the reasons why college is so expensive. Also, people teaching career paths that don't make you any money and charging you thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to pursue said career. Thankfully, mostly dipshit rich kids go for those.
Shut up, pause. Shut up, pause. This is like someone brought up a wish list with the boxes already checked from Christmas like 4 decades ago. Real affordable housing, Section 8. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Real funded public schools. You have public schools, you crazy bitch. They've been around they suck. They suck, just to be clear. And Medicare for all, Medicaid, let's be honest, a lot of these social services, they're incredibly easy to get on, and they didn't, for the longest time, even have work requirements. Like, you're just promising things that already exist and suck. If we didn't have public housing, I guess you'd have a case, right? No one would know the horrors of Section 8 housing. If we didn't already have public schools, well, you'd have a case. We do. People don't like them. That's the problem with just platitudes and slogans that mean nothing. Let's keep playing.
Especially of things that we already have, and the government sucks. Because the people who are responsible for the oversight are selfish assholes. Anyway, real quick, hey, Yunuka, why is the one that give me titties the one that's in the middle? I mean, it's still nice looking and all. But I like I love how I asked just for a tie clip when I was making my character. I asked for the tie clip just because when I was younger, before I turned 30, and even a little bit after, from the age of like 15 until 30, I was bullied a bit for being Jewish. I'm not Jewish. But apparently I look a bit too Jewy, quote unquote, for certain places in the South. And that's one reason. And the other reason is I have a lot of black friends. And they would kick, especially when I was in the Army, they would kick all the white people out of the room and then say, nah, Fields can stay. And when asked why by the other honkies, why I was allowed to stay, they would respond, he's Jewish, he gets it. Without even knowing why I was beat up before. And then it just kind of became a thing. A couple of my friends even made up a backstory. No, he's not practicing, but it's on. And they'd be like, hey, are you really Jewish? And eventually I just got tired of fighting it. And I was like, on my mother's side, yes. And then it turns out, I guess that's the side that matters. But anyway, I don't It's supposed to be wonderful. No, it's like I still love this. Like this is freaking awesome. It's cool as shit looking. I guess this is supposed to be Aquaman. I'm dressed more like an old sea captain with my same black hat, and it keeps putting the emblem on my hat. I keep telling it not to. But this is freaking awesome, man. But anyway, so just something that I put on my tie pin became the most prominent feature of my whole character, according to ChatGPT and Grok, actually. And then they keep trying to change it into a pentacle, so I keep having to change that because I don't want anyone saying it. Like, it made me the thing of mysticism just because I have a 6-pointed star on my character, and I'm like, it's a 6-point, not a 5-point. Like, I know there is some Jewish mysticism, like if you go way back in some of the text, but that was never the point of Alfie Animus, and it always brings in, like in my the coffee brand where that a prompt from a few days ago made, it's a cult coffee or bewitching brews and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, why all this from a Star of David? Like, I nothing in my character, anything beyond the fact that I have a 6-point star with a little skull in it. And that's only because Nuxtaku always talks about the Death Star of David that's in a lot of the Don P. Bongwater videos. And that's only because, like, I've referred to it as the Death Star of David a few times in my prompts. And, anyway, rant over.
To create this country that looks
a certain
I really
way,
do. I
think this
that
is amazing.
acts a certain way, that believes a certain way, and it's frustrating. And also, I don't understand, like, there's no sexualization at a drag show. It's just people dressing up and singing and performing.
This is not true. She's never been to a drag show. Most drag shows are basically burlesque shows, and where people who can't really dance go to dance. It's kind of like George Bush's presidency. It's to make the people in the audience feel like, oh yeah, I could do that, but I won't, but I could.
I've taken my children to drag shows, and it's fun. It's entertainment. It's wholesome entertainment.
Wholesome?
Nothing wrong.
It is certainly not wholesome. You could say that maybe you could take your 16, 17, 18-year-old kid to a drag show. Sure, maybe, depending on who's there, whatever. If you're familiar with the venue. But say you could take little kids to it, it's ridiculous. You wouldn't take them to a burlesque show or what's the one? It's like a step down from risqueness of a burlesque show. I can't think of what it's called either. But yeah, you wouldn't take your kids to that. And if you would, then you're probably a judge at one of those toddlers and tiaras places.
Oh, it's just like I don't get it.
Well, she gets it. The one who looks like Urkel banged the front desk lady in Monsters Inc. I'm
accurate.
Aroused while you talk. Flicking the beat. Always flicking. Got Nietzsche.
Did I flick that?
Check your privilege, Kowalski.
What I really wanted her to chant was, "Father's in the home!"
Right.
Ooh, that would have been helpful.
Yeah, it would. So that means so far 8 DSA-backed candidates are advancing to the general as far as the House and the Senate. And of course, Kalshi odds of this woman winning are slim to none at this point in time. That's one thing, right? That's a double-edged sword. Okay, they voiced their opinion, DSA and the Democrat Party, but is that mainstream? I think that socialism, I think far leftism is definitely more, okay, not I think, objectively speaking, statistically, those in the Democrat Party who want flat-out socialism, Marxism, communism, they're a much greater percentage and influential portion of the Democrat Party than those obsessed with Israel in the Republican Party. Just to be clear. And obsessed does not mean everyone who has a valid opinion and critical eye of Israel. That's not what I'm talking about. Or different lobbying groups. I'm talking about people who are obsessed and make it the centerpiece of their campaign, the Bilzerians of the world. Or of course, in courting that vote, the Fishbacks of the world. They can't make anything happen. They gain no momentum. So I would ask you this, genuinely, whether you like what I'm saying or not, tell me what your feed looks like and contrast it with these results, would your feed reflect at all that the overwhelming majority of people in Florida would rather have Randy Fine? At the end of the day, sure, you can talk about spending, but we've seen examples where people who are outspent, like we just saw today, they win if they have overwhelming public support sentiment. Check your feed. Would it reflect to you a Fishback losing, basically only getting a quarter of the man who won? Is it at least somewhat proportional? If it's not, then ask yourself why and who's lying to you? Who didn't inform you of this?
Everyone.
And did you silence the people who said, I hear you, but objectively, what you're being told is not so? This is also a fun one. It's just funny. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, like the whitest woman ever. When people say Karen, they mean someone like her. Well, she took a black lady's job.
No, come on.
Beat out like a bunch of black candidates in a historically black district.
And you'll see this happen a lot. Especially like you'll see a lot of black conservatives going up against white socialists, and the socialists will win. And nothing's ever said about it. But when it's reversed, or when Tennessee redraws their maps, even though it's still a black congressman or whatever, they'll be like, oh, you're whitewashing black districts. Except when Debbie Wasserman Schultz is voted in.
So, now here's the reason why. It's not a white-black thing. It's not spy versus spy. It's because Sheila Sherfilis McCormick had embezzled $5 million.
Hold on, you're just going to skip past that?
Sheila Sherfilis McCormick embezzled $5 million, allegedly, in disaster relief funds. So that's where people were like, maybe the white pitch isn't so bad.
Maybe we'll take that. She's not going to steal our
Yeah,
money.
Wasserman Schultz, she sounds like she has her own
She's still
money.
not in jail, though.
Yeah.
Think about this. Debbie Wasserman Schultz versus Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. Sounds like a damn monster movie.
I love that, by the way. Can I just touch on Dan Bilzerian really quickly? Because there is this, he put this tweet out yesterday when I think there was 20% and 40% of the vote. And it's like, see, they stole votes from me in real time. And it's like, well, it's NBC. That's not where the data, NBC doesn't produce all of the official data. They actually pull it from somewhere else. And if you go and look at a Decision Desk HQ or something like that, or even our feed that we pay for to be able to see official results to post, you would see his vote counts going up all night, not going up and going back down. He had 7 or 8 million views on this one post saying, hey, they're stealing votes in real time. Just don't fall for stuff like that. I don't think anybody should look at that and go, oh, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. It's just NBC's reporting not being great.
Here's what I would ask, too, of those people.
Imagine that. NBC is not good at things.
Hey, you know how we covered this week? We said,
That's why it's not MSNBC anymore. It's MS Now.
Hey, obviously we're well past 3 months with Iran. And as I told you, if it goes long, it's going to be unpopular, and it's going to be seen as a misstep, and rightfully so. And we said, there you go. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Where they said it would be short, we said if it's short, great. If it's long, it's bad. Came back to you and said, yeah, this is not great. Will the Fishbacks, will the Bilzerians, will those people of the world go, you know what? We were wrong. We told you that this had overwhelming support and this was popular sentiment. You just need to know it's not, objectively. Will they do that? You ever known someone in your life who blocks out, cuts out anyone from their life who disagrees with them or may hold them accountable or go, hey, maybe you're wrong about this, and so that person, whether they're family, friends, no longer a part of their social circle? That's what's happening with the Bilzerians, with the Fishback folk right now.
Yeah. I saw a prominent account with the results in from the primaries go, we aren't voting our way out of this, are we? And that kind of idea, I was like, okay, first of all, listen, the amount of quote-unquote wins that group has had as far as pushing everybody's understanding of how much interference there is from foreign governments, especially maybe Israel, it is at the highest point that it probably has ever been as far as awareness of the general public that, hey, that's a bad idea. Right. People that are willing to push AIPAC to register under FARA, probably at the highest point ever. People not wanting to send money to Israel or have a war in the Middle East, probably the highest point ever.
Yeah.
You've moved the conversation and you're sitting there because Fishback and Bilzerian didn't win, we're not voting our way out of this. That's the kind of mentality that we've been talking about this entire time. Well, you don't know how to play this game and win.
And let's play it. And
especially in these are your battlegrounds, where people who would be pro those things like AIPAC and such, are. I'm just saying. That, and usually the person who's currently in usually wins again. Unless things are going bad, very bad. But Florida is apparently doing very well. People there are very happy, for the most part. At least from everyone that I know that lives there, and everyone who I've seen that I don't know, but I see them talking about it. They're very happy in Florida. Even lefties. I have people on the left who are on the hard left who are friends of mine who are in Florida, and they like it. They just go to Disney World.
It's not a game, man. It's
Because they have the money to do so.
It's not a game. You're all in. We got it. Revolution, right? Accelerationist. Okay. Let me ask you this. If you can't even win a very small portion, I mean, just a third, let's say, is what we're looking for. A third of a Republican primary. Meaning, if you, with all of these campaigns, cannot make up 1/3 of 1/2 of the country, what part of you is going to lead any type of revolution of the masses? At some point do you go, well, maybe you're wrong, or maybe your approach is wrong, or maybe you need an alliance, maybe you need to build some bridges, maybe you need to find some common ground. You can't make up 1/3 of 1/2 of this country. We're not voting our way out. Time to what? Time to what? Less than 10% of the country? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We know that less than 10% of the country is enough. The margins in a national election, it's enough to have open borders. It's enough to have abortion taxpayer-funded on-demand period. It's enough to have biological men and women's sports. It's enough to have giant supposed green energy companies, the Solyndras of the world, and embezzling. It's enough for an anti-humanist policy. It's enough because the left only needs really 0.5% of a vote is what you're talking about nationally. It is not enough for you to do anything other than hand the country over to Marxists. That's really the only threshold that you meet. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to have your opinions. I'm not saying, but you do need to decide what you want to do with it, because right now you can't do anything other than help the left win. Don't give me platitudes. Oh, you're still here.
That being said, let's see what's going on over here. So this is a thing. Apparently, their therapist told them throwing ice in the bathtub is a great way to release anger. Like, that's a lot of anger. Thought that was funny. Tim Pool posted this. Our day's wager. Let's see over here. Oh, that's good. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense too, because no one, really kills anyone, especially high-profile people over now. Yeah, that makes sense. They're the same thing. Yeah, that's also true. Seems to be the case. This is something I just clicked on because I need to look into this. I'm not sure what victory they're speaking of, but oh. I love these videos where they substitute Jewpool for Deadpool.
Oh, I'm touching myself tonight.
It's fantastic. This is apparently a thing. So apparently the garage that in Candace Owens' house is their kid's playroom, and that's the room that Gerald went into to... I mean, I'm sure he just saw the garage door and thought it'd be a good place to get away for a second from the little debate that was going on. And they said that he violated the playroom. And my big question is, why would you make... You're a millionaire, your husband is a lord, a British lord. Why is your house so small? Or why do you not like your kids to where you put them in an unair-conditioned room for their playroom? I don't know what state she lives in, I don't care. That's the worst room. I mean, it's large, but live in a place, you've got millions of dollars. Again, live in a place where you can have a good-sized playroom for your kids, not the garage. That's just stupid. And anyone would have gone into that room to get away so he could, broadcast what was going on during the debate. Candace Owens looks at anything to admonish people when she's actually retarded. I gotta say, I don't is this where the helipad's actually going to be, like in front of the White House? I don't think that's a great idea considering the movie Independence Day exists. Anyway. Like, stuff like this is irritating when you tell a woman strangling children is illegal, and it's got this face from, I can't remember what the movie is. I think it's that Dracula movie, Nosferatu. But and then you have this person saying when you tell men raping children is illegal. The difference there, dear boy, or girl, whatever you are, is on this, you've got millions of people on TikTok saying it's okay, or I understand, or raising $1 million for someone who murdered all 3 of their kids. When this happens, people are just like, all right, yeah, later, creep. Unless the guy is actually innocent, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It doesn't happen. And even if the guy is innocent, it's a bad look for people to do such a thing. So no one does. So this is a stupid comparison. You're making yourself look like an ass. Even more than you already are. Nancy. So apparently Candace Owens is going on the Young Turks. Why? Because they align. Crazy bitch. Crazy bitch. And then, of course, Cenk Uygur, the guy who thinks it's okay to fuck dogs as long as you're gratifying the dog. Shit like this. I don't know if that's copyright, but this is absolutely insane. Again, she murdered her kids. And again, zero remorse. She's just sitting there like this. Look, I think it's a little odd that the guy is also very cold looking when he's talking about certain things. But it's been years since this woman murdered her kids. It's been so long, and people are like, oh, he remarried 3 months later. It's been 3 years. He did, I think it was a few months later, he started dating someone else. Sometimes things happen when you least expect it. I'm sure he went on quite a tragic spill. I mean, his wife was in jail, and all of his kids were dead, so I'm sure he found comfort somewhere. Good for him. Old chunky yogurt. It's Snow Pool? Sorry, I just saw that. I'm curious about this. I don't know if it's just a play that the two of them are doing, but this is pretty funny, considering how much Rev is known for loving his wife. I've been saying women hate their kids, and none of you believe me, said by H. Pearl Davis, to which I responded, I've been saying that people hate you and you don't believe me. Which is actually true. A lot of people hate Pearl because she should, and she looks like Hugh Grant got cloned and made into a woman. Wait, her killing her kids was recent? No, it was like 3 years ago. They're just now doing the court case, but it's been like 3 years. Joey Swole doing God's work, going out there and say. Just because it's ridiculous to say that anyone that doesn't date a trans person is transphobic. No, I just don't want to play tummy swords with you. I'm sorry. And I'm not a fan of fake titties. I mean, a lot of women do hate their kids. No, a lot of women do hate their kids. Yeah, 100%. But even a lot of those women aren't cool with killing them and aren't going to send money to someone who did kill them. In what situation would a kid need this? Maybe if her mother had postpartum depression. I think that's funny. So Britney Spears is at it again. So when she's not dancing with knives, she's treating the internet like it's her little boy toy that she's enticing to come over. Still would. Anyway, Hassan Diddy Piker saying, yes, Megyn Kelly, who talked about Charlie Kirk being killed by hexes, is infinitely more fact-based than Midas Touch. Thank you for another incredibly biased media bias chart. I tagged this because it's something I actually agree with Hassan Piker on. Let's look at what these fucking retards put on this, and this will be the last thing real quick. So all the way at the tippity top of more reliable, you have things like, what's that, Ali, PBS, the Wall Street Journal. I will say lately they have been better. CNN is at the tippity top. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Fox News, that's more or less accurate. I saw one that was really Pew Research, I mean, maybe. I love how CNN is skews left. I will say Fox is about there, right on the line of strong right. Megyn Kelly is not reliable at all. Cuomo, again, not reliable. Maddow, what are we even talking about? Like, and he's way further left than that. He's come around a little bit lately because he has to. This right here is accurate. I will say that one is definitely good. And I don't think he's as far left as most of the people who follow him are. But he is definitely poking at it, giggity. I don't know who a lot of those people are. It's too small for me to read. Newsmax, never really watched him. The fact that Joe Rogan is on skews right, at most he's down the middle. But no, he skews left. He does. He skews left. Anyone that believes otherwise watches this guy right here. This is absolutely retarded. I don't know. I've never watched them. The Black Wall Street Times. I would say they go more about right. Yeah. Jezebel. This is too high. This Jezebel should be probably in here somewhere with whatever Breakthrough News is. New York Post. That's about right. Sky News. Considering how much lefties losing it that they do, I would say they're probably a little more, just probably like right here. But again, I don't know who a lot of these people are. I have some reliable sources. TMZ. I would say right there. The fact that TMZ, like, where'd they go? I lost them. Am I retarded? Barstool Sports. I don't watch them, but he seems like maybe in here somewhere. Forbes. Okay, sure. I mean, there's a few inaccuracies here. Alex Jones is not all the way to the right. Alex Jones is probably... I mean, lately, since he's jumped on Candace's bandwagon, sure. He deserves to be in this red square, but I would say he's probably there at most. Tucker Carlson... Boom. Washington, WAPO, I would say at least here. At least. But I'm really pissed off. But anyway. I'm so dumb. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be all for today. Sorry to end it on such a banger as this. That's pretty funny. But anyway, that's going to be all for today, guys. Love you guys to death. Y'all are awesome. We're going to have one more show tonight. One more show tomorrow. Tonight, I'll probably get on and play maybe an hour or two of Spider-Man. Just because I got a lot of people watching that. Not only as I was streaming, but a lot of people have watched it since, so I'm going to do it again. It was fun. I wish they would talk more, because that's part of the fun, is just responding to the comments. But yeah, no, I thought it was entertaining. It was a lot of fun. I love playing through it again, and I'm gonna do it again. It was awesome. And again, I don't just do things for people watching it. I do it just because it's fun for me. It's an outlet, and I got a lot to say. Sometimes I'm a little more stale, but I mean, I'm crazy. What do you expect from me? But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. I appreciate all y'all for coming through here. Thanks for the engagement in the comments to my two regulars, Yanuka and Angie. Y'all mean the world to me. We'll see you later. And for those of you on X, I'll see you on X.